Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I've got something a bit bizarre, to say the least. It's something that I think is going to appeal to only about 9 people watching, and that thing is this. It's the thing from the thumbnail. Who'd have thought it? This is the Joey N64, and if you're looking at it and you're going, aha, a controller port? A slot here? Is this some kind of like tiny N60? No. Okay, well, will it allow me to use my N64 controller on a computer? No. Well, can I at least? Probably not. You are right, though. That is a slot for an N64 controller. I can prove it. I feel like I should have mentioned at some point that's a USB-C interface. So a controller does indeed plug into here, and then via the USB-C, you can get connected to a computer, but it's not the controller it's interested in. It's merely an interface for memory cards. Is this an official memory card? Is it buttons? But it does say Simon on it. So what you do is you plug a memory card into the back of your N64 controller, you plug it into here, you plug it into your computer, and you can download the save files. It's not a joke. That is genuinely what this port is for. And I think that's fun, even if I have absolutely no saves worth transferring. But the eagle-eyed among you, or more specifically anyone who's paying attention, has noticed that there's something far more important here. Yes, I've been teasing you long enough. This is the main reason I got this. I'm not interested in that. Yes, this strip of pins here, very importantly, interfaces beautifully with any N64 cartridge, and now I think you're beginning to see. This is a way to connect N64 cartridges, sometimes a little too firmly, to a PC. You simply plug it into your computer, plug a cartridge in, or rather, you plug the cartridge in, then plug it into the computer. There's a very specific reason for that. All the mad gubbins in here, the crazy goodness is able to read the cartridge, and you know what it can do? It can take that ROM file, and you can digitize it. That's probably not that exciting to many people. This doesn't run that well on macOS, and they recommend you don't use it. I did it anyway. Apparently it creates a load of garbage files, which admittedly, yeah, macOS does, but I didn't have any issues, but your mileage may vary. What's quite unusual, though, is the way that it works. It doesn't have its own software or anything like that. It basically just treats the whole device and anything you plug into it as a removable USB storage device. And if that sounds weird, that's because it is, but I think there's a flipping good reason for it. By essentially treating the whole thing as just like a USB stick or a hard drive or whatever, that means that this is reasonably universally compatible without any additional software. You don't need to download anything. It's not going to go out of date or become incompatible or anything like that. As long as you have a device that can read a USB external flash storage device, this'll work. And that also means it works in a way that is actually kind of cool, if extremely niche even further. It means you can take one of these out with the appropriate cable attached, and when you're out and about, you know, sort of maybe you're shopping for retro games or something like that, and you see something you think, ah, that's a good price, I'll have that copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day that's suspiciously clean. Well, you can ask very nicely, or do ask, don't just do this. You plug it into this thing, and then you plug this thing into your phone, and as long as your phone supports external storage, which most modern phones do, this is an iPhone. If it supports it on an iPhone, it's supported anywhere. And through a debug file, because again, it just treats it as a piece of external storage called Benven, I believe that's the person who made this, you can open it up, and inside you'll find a debug file detailing everything, including whether it's real or not. And that is genuinely useful these days. It's still pretty niche. A lot of people won't care, but you know what? I do. There's also a lot of extra stuff on here that I don't understand. But it is a neat little device, to say the least. I know it's supremely niche, hence the title of this video. But I bought this for a flipping good reason, and that's because I don't like having all my consoles hooked up. Yes, it's nice to use original hardware, but realistically, it's not always convenient. You know, you've got to use things like upscalers in order to get the video signal to be even remotely usable, and then you could be introducing lag. And even then it's not convenient because, you know, you've got to go over, and a lot of these things, you know, they've got wired controllers, and yes, I could buy a numerous amount of wireless controllers, but it's just inconvenient. And I've got this mass of games. Look at how many games I've got. And so a kind of new hobby of mine, and it's not that new, but I suppose it's less than a year old, is digitizing my game collection, because I want to play these games, but it is kind of inconvenient enough for me to not bother doing it using traditional means, with exceptions, obviously. But what if I just want to chill out and play a quick game of Plock? You know, I want to see whether I can ever complete that game. I don't know what it is. I always go in with the best intentions and it just doesn't happen. And I've primarily been using this thing, a Retron 5, which is a really old bit of kit now. But you know, it's got slots for goodness that you can't see. I'm triangling it towards the light. It's got slots for Famicom, NES, Genesis, Mega Drive to you and me. A Game Boy slot at the top, which can do GBA, GBC, and original Game Boy. And using all it, oh, and also Master System if I use this horribly big adapter. And with some custom firmware, I've been able to digitize my entire collection. And it is my original cartridges from when I was younger and things I've picked up over the years. It's mine, you know, but I've not been able to, where did I put it? I've not been able to do N64 until now, and that was a huge part of my childhood. I did get some of my ROMs digitized. I sent my cartridges off, and I know they didn't send me my own ROMs back because they ran too fast, but I didn't realize until I'd already made the Diddy Kong Racing video. But now I can do it properly, and I can do it myself, and I did it to my entire collection, and it took me about half an hour. Do you ever have it where you wait for ages to do something and you sort of think, oh yeah, and you sit down to do it and it happens really quickly and you're sort of a little bit disappointed because you thought it would take up more of your day? Just me? Now, there's probably already some comments down in the comments section saying, Alex, why would you do this? Why would you bother going to all this expense and all this effort when there are other methods for getting old game files? Well, but more to the point, these are my games that I grew up with, and I don't care that they're at 50 hertz, you know? Yeah, 60 hertz is better, but you know what? I've come to the conclusion that 50 hertz, it's fine. It's fine. These games are janky anyway, you know, if they're slightly slower by like, what, 12.5 or whatever it is percent, it's fine, I don't care. In fact, all the gameplay you've seen in this video has been 50 hertz, and I bet you couldn't even tell. And more importantly, it means that I can now play Turok Rage Wars on my Steam Deck, and it's completely legitimate. I could also play a good game. Generally, if I can, I will prefer to play my N64 games on the Switch through NSO. I think that overall, it's the best and certainly the most convenient way to play them. Also, they are 60 hertz. You know, I said N50 is fine, and it is, but 60 is better. But it's so limited, and understandably so. I can't change the control options. I can't play Carmageddon 64, which again is a bonus. But more so, these are my games. This isn't something that Nintendo has taken from the archives or anything like that. These ROMs, these games, they're my games from my childhood. These are what I grew up playing. Not this, I bought this recently. And for all their faults and foibles, and some of them aren't even good games, and they're never going to end up on NSO, I still kind of love them. It's my childhood, and it's a way for me to legitimately enjoy it again. And it's weirdly rewarding. And again, I know that most people aren't going to go down this route, for numerous reasons, mainly, you know, money, convenience, all that sort of thing. But for me, this is the way I want to do it. And it makes me happy. If it makes you happy as well and you want to pick up one of these for yourself, then make sure you check the link in the description. They didn't send me this, I paid for it with my own money. I just like it a lot. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you digitize that subscribe button in a convoluted and arguably expensive way? And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. You are right, though. That is a slot for an N64 controller. I can prove it. Ow, ow, ow. I don't like doing that. God, I thought I tidied you.